this is Antariksh. I work as an executive marketing at CloudMoyo, and today's topic for our podcast is navigating from data to AI with Snowflake. We have with us another industry expert, Sanket Saraf, who is the director of analytics and data science at CloudMoyo. Sanket, would you like to tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Antariksh. Myself, Sanket Saraf. I have around 20 years of industry experience. And then mainly I was working into the data warehousing side. All my role was related to data, and for last 7 to 8 years I've been working into the cloud technologies, and now we are specifically focusing on the AI side.
Wow, thank you so much. So just to brief you a little bit, today we'll be covering 3 topics, which is 3 of them are data mesh. We'll be talking about Snowpark container services. And also, we would like to elaborate a little bit about how we can create AI-powered solutions for our clients. So let's start with the first one, the data mesh part. So in this segment, we are going to explore a relatively new, fascinating architecture that was introduced first in 2020, which is data mesh. Sanket, would you like to talk a little bit about it and help our audience understand that how exactly it is bringing a revolution in data management?
Yeah, absolutely. So data mesh is a brand new concept, and then it is very different from the traditional approach what we have. In the traditional approach, what we do, we have a central data warehouse where we combine data from multiple sources, and then we actually do the analytics on top of that. But sometimes that is time consuming as well as an expensive method to get all the data at a central location. In the data mesh, we don't actually move the data, but we provide some kind of platform to that so that the data can move freely within the organization.
Right.
So we liberate the data, and that's what the data mesh is. So keep the data where it is generating, but let it freely flow within the organization. So that's what currently we are doing. But in terms of the Snowflake, Snowflake has a lot of facilities and tools to facilitate this data mesh. Now what happens is that when we liberate the data within the data mesh environment, we create some kind of APIs, data pipelines as well as policies for securing the data before it moves within the organization or even sometimes outside the organization. But how Snowflake helps? Snowflake has 3 main principles through which we can put together the data mesh. The first one is delivering the self-service infrastructure as a platform, because any data platform, even if it is modern data platform or a legacy, we need to have some kind of platform to hold that data.
Right.
Once we have once we hold the data, then we will be able to do some kind of analytics on top of that.
Okay.
But we need to provide that kind of platform. And if that platform is administrative free, then it becomes, then it gives the flexibility for the users to focus on their core capabilities and rather than looking at the technical aspects of it. So Snowflake provides that seamless self-service infrastructure where it is almost admin free, you can say. So that was the first one, the first principle. The second one is that delivering the domain-driven ownership and data as a product. We started hearing this concept a lot, data as a product, but before going there, we need to have a data in a certain shape and format.
Yeah.
We need to have that quality, and then Snowflake provides something called SnowGrid, which is like a data transformation service, and with this SnowGrid we can make sure that data is at a certain quality and can be distributed with other departments so that they can make use of it. And third one is, which is very important, delivering the federated governance. Now we all know that we have a lot of tools and technologies to churn the data and do analytics on top of that. But putting the governance boundaries or policies around the data is equally important. Before we liberate that data to the others. But in the Snowflake we have different set of tools and technologies. But the main one is the SnowGrid. through which we can put the policies, boundaries around that data.
Absolutely. So this sounds very fascinating. So basically, what we're trying to say is that with the traditional approach, if we wanted to establish any kind of ELT for our existing infrastructure, it would be very difficult and time consuming. But because of this new architectural approach, this entire charade of data management is simplified by a lot, and I think it enables organizations to like scale and collaborate much more easily. So moving to the next segment of our podcast, we would like to talk a little bit about Snowpark container services, and we want to help our audience understand as to how Snowpark container services can they can leverage those to safely build third-party models for them.
Absolutely. So we can take example of the e-commerce website where we have a lot of operations happening behind the scene, and we have a lot of users in using that e-commerce website. Now generally what we want to do, we want to give the better user experience to the users who are coming there and purchasing the service. Now if you want to do that, what we generally do, we look at the browsing history of a user, look at their purchase history, or even check that what similar other users are buying. And based on that, we can build a model so that we can have some kind of relevant recommendation to that users, so that we'll have a boosting sales as well as better user experience. That kind of example like that. So as the name suggests, Snowpark container. So we have a container which is like a boundary for your data, because nowadays if it is a website, then generally your data is vulnerable. So within the container, what happens is that we have a data, we have a transformative services to get the analytics on top of that, and we have AI models running within that container. Now what happens is that whenever the model is going to run within the container, data will not go outside those boundaries, so it is very secure. And that is how we can have data readily available for the AI model as well, so that there won't be any kind of traffic, because the AI model can run quickly and churn out the results.
So there's this third aspect that we wanted to cover as promised, which is data AI. We want to help our audience understand as to how we can use Snowflake Enterprise Data Warehouse to create AI-powered solutions for our clients, and we wanted to elaborate a little bit more on a use case of one of our clients. So Sandeep, could you share something?
Yeah, absolutely. So our client is an AEC firm, which is architecture, construction, and engineering firm. So idea was that they wanted to predict the soil type as well as density of that particular soil type at the construction location. Why that is needed? Because depending upon the soil type, they need to estimate the construction cost. And generally what happens in this process is quite manual as of now. So we have to take boring logs everywhere within that construction site and then manually analyze the data to predict the construction cost. What we did, we put the AI model together, which is going to take the existing boring logs and then combine that with the other data sources like publicly available data source from the government website or even landlord information. And then we try to predict the soil type and density at that construction site. The main challenge with this customer was the type of data, the variety of the data we are having for this AI model. At the same time, the scale of the data or volume of the data. What we did is that we use the Snowflake data services to store all these different data sources at one location, so that AI model can take all the data from the single source. And then what we try to do is that we use the scale up and scale down feature from the Snowflake, because many times what happens is that whenever the AI model is going to run, it is going to utilize a lot of resources. So that time when we bump up the capacity, we run our AI model and then we scale down that capacity again. So we use Snowflake for running the AI model as well as the data platform which is needed for the AI model.
Understood. Thank you so much. So it would be fair to say, I think, so the AEC company, it's a huge construction company and they do many projects simultaneously. And let's suppose if they were to have their traditional approach in place where they would manually go and go to test everything, it would take a lot of time, it would take a lot of effort, and it would be very intensive. And with this particular solution, they can forecast the cost of their projects, which is a huge win for our client. I think this would be it for today's podcast. I would like to thank Sanket for spending time and shedding light on this topic. Also, if you have any further questions related to Snowflake, please feel free to reach out to us at marketing@cloudmoyo.com. You can also visit our website www.cloudmoyo.com.